Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be showing you kind of like my current base routine, but more so why I love the base products that I'm currently loving and why they have replaced the other base products that I had been using for the most part. I am also going to be including, I'm gesturing toward my skincare, even though you can't see it. I'm going to be including my skincare in this video, or my skin prep, because I feel like I never include it because it is typically always the same and always boring. But my routine has switched up a little bit, and the products I've been using for months now with great success. So I figured I would include those as well. But yes, hope you guys find this video interesting and find it helpful, so let us begin. Beginning with skincare, I always start my routine morning and night with the SK2 Essence Still. This has really benefited my skin so much, and I just don't think I'll ever go without it in my skincare routine. I feel like it really has evened out my skin a lot, and I like that it does that without being like a chemical exfoliant or anything too harsh. Like, my skin can't even really handle niacinamide. So it's been really nice to use something that gives me similar results as niacinamide did in a much more gentle way for me personally. Anyway, next I use the Rose Inc Radiant Reveal Serum. As you can see, Oscar kicked it off the counter. He really loves and cherishes me and my things. This is very new to me. They actually sent this to me, and I am going to be repurchasing this. I really like it. So I tend to use it around the eye area of my face, and I just take one pump like this, little pea-sized amount, and pat it into this region because I am so dry around my eye area, especially with how windy it's been. Even the SK2 Essence is doing nothing to keep the balance there. Like, it has balanced out the rest of my face. My face is a lot more normal now instead of being dry all over, but my under eyes, there's no hope for them. And this does have a little bit of a rosemary-ish scent. It is not bothering me so far. Sometimes these essential oily scents really mess with my skin, but I've used this for about 2-ish weeks now, on and off, and I haven't had any problems, so fingers crossed. It says that it is supposed to brighten and even the complexion. Personally, I haven't seen any drastic results just yet, but we shall see. And then I always moisturize, obviously, before applying my sunscreen at the end. And lately I've been loving the Shani Darden Weightless Oil-Free Moisturizer. I'm pretty much out of this. I have been taking the pump off and putting it into my hand. So this is like your typical hyaluronic style moisturizer, except it doesn't dry your face out. That's the main reason I love it. I have yet to find until this one a weightless oil-free moisturizer situation that actually moisturized my face, maybe because my skin type is more like normal, erring on the side of dryness. But this one really keeps me moisturized without feeling like I have a lot of product on my face. And when my skin isn't super, super dry, I don't use this next one, but I have been mixing the Shani Darden moisturizer with this Obagi Clinical Kinetin Hydrating Cream. So if you follow me on Instagram, a few weeks ago, I was like, help me find a deep moisturizer that doesn't give me closed comedones, because I have tried Vanicream, Cetaphil, the Pharmacy Honey Halo, and that one was my absolute favorite, but randomly it started really clogging up my pores up here. I think over time it just became too rich in my skin, so I switched to this one. I've been having really good results for about 3 weeks total, and my skin is not tight and dry anymore. So fingers crossed that it doesn't start to give me those weird closed comedone type of breakouts. Anyway, I take about this much of them both, just mix them together and apply as one does. One of my favorite things about this Obagi Clinical Lotion as well is that, like those really thick, hydrating, almost like mattifying, because they're so thick and hydrating creams, a little bit goes a really long way. I feel like usually with those creams, like the Vanicream and Cetaphil especially, you kind of have to use so much to get it to really slather around your face. This one you don't. You only need like 2 pumps and it's good enough for the whole face. So I really love that. Okay, so that is literally all I do for skin prep / skincare. And then before makeup, I will go in with a setting spray. Not like a mattifying setting spray or anything, but just something to kind of keep my face juicy and to re-amplify the skincare I just used. So I've been really enjoying the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix. So I'm just gonna do a little dousing. So I would say this is the hero product of this video. This is the Charlotte's Beautiful Skin for your best, Charlotte's Beautiful Skin Foundation for your best healthy looking skin every day. I love the long names that she gives to her products. It is as if a serum foundation and a lotion and a regular foundation had a child. So I feel like it's one that you have to experience to get to grasp what I fully mean, but it feels like a gel on the face almost with a lot of creaminess. Like here, you can kind of see it in the texture on my finger. It has a really nice watery gel consistency that isn't overly watery. It's like just in between a cream gel and a water. And because of that, it feels like you're applying lotion to your face. A lot of times with serum-y foundations like this, I feel like I can always see it breaking up on my face, and you can almost see, they all tend to be a little gritty. You can almost see the little bits of grittiness in them, but with this one, you really can't. And the effect it gives to the skin is your skin with skincare on it, just completely even, like as if you had perfectly even model skin, and that's all I ever want in life. So I just have absolutely been loving wearing this. It looks and feels like I have nothing on my face. So this is the finish, and it holds this finish all day for me, and I feel like it plays really well with the skin prep that I do. And then this is the finish of my skincare. So I like that whatever you put on under it beams through it. It really enhances whatever's underneath it. Sometimes even with more emollient foundations, it's just they either mattify things or just way too much dewiness and you end up looking greasy, you know what I mean? But it's like this is an extension of the skincare I just did in terms of look and feel. But yeah, I definitely think it's worth all the hype it's getting online. It is really, really good. So that's literally all I do. That was a full pump between this side and this side of my face, and it looks like my face is naked to me. It looks like I do not have any base on. I don't know how it does that to where it just simply evens your skin without looking like there's product on it. It's one of the most invisible base products that I've ever used. So really, I love it. And then to conceal, I just wanted to zoom you in a little bit closer so you could see how these products play together. I've been really enjoying the Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat pen. I used to use this like beneath concealer, like regular concealer, but on its own with this Charlotte Tilbury foundation, it just looks so nice. It really has the same kind of my skin but better situation, so I love putting the two together. The only thing I don't like about this though is the applicator. I just feel like it's really hard to control the amount of product you get. It's not my number one, but yeah, I just feel like this is so nice and hydrating beneath my eyes. And you can kind of get away with using quite a bit like that. And I feel like it works best with a damp sponge like this. It just melts it right into the skin. When I've tried it with my fingers or a brush, it does get a little streaky, so I just prefer to do it this way. And as you can see, it still allows my natural texture to shine through. Like sometimes with concealers, it instantly looks cakey in this area of my eyes right here because they're just so dry, even after all the skin prep. If I were to use my usual concealer and go outside right now, you would be able to see the layerage on my face. Like it always looks really good on camera, but in person, it looks very much like I have makeup on. But with this combination, it really doesn't look like I have makeup on my face. So it's just really nice, foolproof. Like I don't have to be insecure about like, oh my God, does it look like I have only a ton of concealer on with this lighter base? Because they complement each other so well. I also feel like any type of serum concealer would give you a really similar result to this. There's so many out there now too, which I really need to dabble in because this pen doesn't last that long and it is a little pricey. I'm also gonna take a little bit of that excess onto the forehead. My brows are always red up here lately, so I'm just gonna conceal that a wee bit. So that is all I do for my two base products, and I really, like I said, love the texture of my skin with these because it doesn't look like I'm trying to kind of conceal or cover up the texture that I have going on. Like even on bad skin days for me, nothing I've used so far makes any of my dry patches emphasized or anything like that. So this has become my absolute go-to situation. And for powder, lately I've either been using the Pat McGrath powder or the Kosas Cloud Set. Today, I think I'm going to use the Pat McGrath under the eyes just to keep the texture looking the same. I do love the Kosas Cloud Set, and I feel like it doesn't emphasize texture, but sometimes I feel like it does change the texture of the unset base and kind of enhance the dryness just a touch, whereas the Pat McGrath one really does not do that. So I'm just going to do a light layer just around the eyes because I'm going to go in with a stick bronzer after we do our eyeshadow. Maybe take some down to the lip. And that's literally it. As you can see, it just quite literally sets your face. It doesn't change the texture or the coverage of the products you use it over. It's really, honestly, one of the best setting powders I've ever used because it really does what it says. It says Sublime Perfection Setting Powder. That's literally how I feel about it. Okay, moving on to the eyes. You know I love a warm taupe, and since this video is more skin focused, I'm just gonna keep the eyes very basic. I'm going to use some MAC single shadows. The first one I'm gonna go in with is called Back to Surreality. Surreality. Anyway, that was annoying. It's this really nice, you know, camel toned. And I'm gonna take it on a Sigma E40 Max tapered blending brush. It's really not that big. And I'm just gonna toss her in the crease like this. You know, no rhyme or reason, just getting the tone down. Every time I go back into MAC singles, I always forget how much I love the mattes. There's like no fallout and they blend out so nice without being dense. They're a nice thin kind of wispy formula that kind of surprise you because it seems like they might be a little drying, but they never are. Just taking this all the way down and all the way up the lid just to add a nice super easy peasy gradient. Then on the lid, I'm going to be taking Omega, which is one of my favorite grays because do you see how it has that little bit of green yellow in it? That really complements the shade we just used. And I'm just going to focus this more on the lid region. Just going to use the same brush for this. Just pat it on at first and then slowly blend that out. And these shadows really just blend themselves out, to be honest with you. And then I take the excess of it up into the shade that we just used to keep it nice and soft and cohesive. Also, that serum I used by Rose Inc really also makes a great eye prep / priming situation. It really adds a nice emolliency, is that a word, to the eye area, which makes shadows blend out a lot better. Personally, haven't had any more creasing than usual doing it, but your mileage may vary. And I'm just gonna mimic those steps on the lower lash, just so that everything is nice and neat and tied in together. I'm gonna add just a little zhuzh to the center with one of these little Giorgio Armani cream / liquid shadows, or eye tint as it's called. This is the shade 43. And I like this one because it has like a mirror-like finish. Like it's not a chalky silver. It kind of just holds on to the reflect when you blend it out. So I'm just gonna keep it right in the center and then go in with our blending brush and kind of pat it around a little bit. And then in the waterline, to kind of bring out the grayish taupe tones that we use, I'm going to use this Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Mushroom. I've never used this before, but I just love this color. It's like a warm gunmetal tone, and I'm just going to lightly draw it on. And with my waterline liner for every day, I kind of stop right at my pupil because when I go too far in, it can really close my eyes off and enhance my bag, so I like to keep it out here. And I always, this is my little trick with this, to make sure my eyes don't get too closed off, I take it into this outer corner of the waterline and kind of pull it so that it creates this world's tiniest cat eye and allows my eye shape to stay the same, because sometimes I feel like it also like shortens my eyes, the darkness of it. So doing that keeps my shape. For mascara, I'm trying to finish this off. It's the Valentino Beauty Mascara. This has gotten better with each application I do. As it dries, it becomes more and more amazing, and I love a mascara like that. It's very thickening and darkening, which I love. I really like, this is just one coat. I can usually get away with one quick coat because one coat of this kind of looks like 2 to 3. And then when that dries, I go in with a spoolie and clean up any of the mistakes I've made. But on my lower lash, I'm going to use my usual MAC Giga Black Lash because I've said this a million times, but it just does not transfer. It's truly the best lower lash mascara. So that's the eyes. And then on the brows, I have been going back and forth between my Rose Ink Eyebrow Gel in the shade Fill 05 or the MAC Big Boost Fiber Gel in the shade Stylized, which is what I think I'm going to use today. And I always back comb it and then brush it through the other way. I feel like it just coats the lashes really evenly like that. Okay, now to bring some life back into my face. It's very dewy, but very like she looks like she might have nausea. She's so pale vibes. I am going to bronze with the Rare Beauty Power Boost bronzer stick, and I absolutely love this tone because it's very similar to that MAC eyeshadow. I'm taking a little ColourPop F30 brush and just getting the excess off on my wrist. And then I start by kind of dotting it around the face and then lightly doing circular motions. This bronzer blends out like a powder, but applies like a cream. So you really get the best of both worlds. It's just absolutely amazing. It's really easy to use. And this is my favorite way to apply it to get it to look nice and seamless. And again, just one half of my face done so you can see how well it holds on to my skin texture. Let me zoom you in a little differently. It plays very nicely with the foundation. Doesn't get, well, I have brow product in my hairline, but it doesn't get gunked up in your hairline. This is the before. So yeah, I really like it. The other thing I really like about it as well is that if I had set my cheek area on accident, it would give the same result. It doesn't create its own texture or its own mess in some circumstances. It really just sits so nicely on top of whatever base you put it over without kind of dominating it when it's sitting on top. You know, sometimes like a product sits on top of the other ones and you're like, what's going on here? This one doesn't. All right, and then for blush, I'm gonna use one of these new M Cosmetics Nude Collection blushes. This one is in the shade Baroque, and it's a really nice muted peach tone. It has a slight bit of like this tan mauve to it, so I feel like it's really wearable and minimal. And I'm using a little tiny ColourPop F20 brush just so I can have more control, because I feel like for a long time now I cannot get my blush to be where I want it on my face. Like I always end up coming so close to the nose with it, and I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it's not what I want every time. So I just do really light circular motions, which I feel helps to buff the pearl reflect of this product down into the skin. And then I'll take the excess close to the nose. That way it kind of fades into the cheek area and adds a nice little bit of roundness to the face. And I do love these blushes. So this one and the shade Rococo are both really similar and also really nice and really consistent with the rest of the blushes in M's range. But I have found if I go overboard with the M blushes, because they have that reflect in them, they can look inadvertently muddy on the face, because at least on me the reflect is a little bit cool toned, like it's kind of almost happening today. You can see it's very silvery, so I would just be careful with how much you use. And then I am going to highlight a little bit today. I want to try out this product. It's the Fenty Liquid Kilowatt Fluid Freestyle Highlighter. I'm going to be using the shade Vintage Velour. It's a nice kind of pinky tone that goes really well with the blush we just used. So I'm going to see how it looks on the face. And I like to put a little bit on the back of my hand and take my beauty blender into it and then use that situation to blend it out on the face. That way I never get little dots of highlighter that don't blend out, because I've learned that lesson, if you will, the hard way, where I dot a highlighter on my face and I'm blending it and it just does not blend. It keeps those little dots. So anything to keep cream products smooth from the applicator onto my face is my goal. Formula wise, this is super, super nice, but I do feel like it's a little too cool toned for my everyday. It's just a little silvery with my undertone. And to combat that, what I'll usually do is take my whatever's left on my bronzer brush, I almost said blush, and swirl that up into the highlighter. That way it kind of mixes in with the reflect and creates a gradient that's a little bit more warm and kind of gets rid of that muddiness. All right, and then to re-lock everything, I like to sandwich my setting spray. So I applied setting spray before my makeup, and now I'm gonna apply the same setting spray afterwards, just to not only keep everything nice and hydrated, but kind of lock everything in. Okay, so for the lips, you know I love a nude lip for every day, and for that I have been loving Strip Down by MAC. It has come back into circulation for me. And I am just gonna slightly overline to give my lips a little bit more symmetry, and then fill everything in with this pencil. And then over that, I'm going to use another one of the new M Cosmetics products. This one is the Lip Cushion Tinted Lip Liner, Tinted Lip Luminizer in the shade Mona Lisa, which really complements the Strip Down liner nicely. It's the same color, just slightly more cool tone, so they really work well together. All right, so here is a close-up of the final look, so you can see the finishes and the textures of everything and see how everything plays well together. As I've said a zillion times, my favorite thing about this combo specifically is how it just looks like skin. Even with all these other products on my face, my skin looks like there's not a lot of product on it, which I really, really, really like I mentioned as well. It makes me feel like I can go out and not be like, oh my God, does my bronzer look wild? Oh my God, do my under eyes look cakey? It's a very nice, reliable base routine that really complements my natural skin type as well. And very lastly, speaking of skin type, I personally feel like this will work on dry to normal skin the best. If you are oily, I do feel like this may enhance your oiliness because it doesn't just deposit this nice glow to the skin. It is slightly emollient, like a lotiony slick feeling. So I feel like you should use either a setting spray sandwich like I did, but make sure the setting spray you use is more of a long lasting or mattifying one. I don't think a mattifying setting spray is gonna take the dew this gives your skin out all the way. It'll just help you manage it throughout the day. And I also would recommend using a less like finely milled, hydration friendly setting powder over it. Milani makes a really good one that has a similar look to the Pat McGrath one, but it's not quite as, I don't know if hydrating is the right word, but yeah, that one is a really great option to this one for those of you with more oily skin. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. Like I said at the beginning, I hope that you found this helpful and that you learned something. Please let me know what other products you would like to see me try out. Would you like some sort of foundation guide for other base products that I really swear by that kind of give me the same look that I can rely on and not feel, you know, insecure about what my face is looking like. But I hope that you guys have a really nice rest of the day, and we'll chat again in my next upload. Bye!